let me tell you, we first need to open the SolidWorks, and after opening the SolidWorks box, we are going to get such kind of setup. Okay, so we'll be having a window of the document where we'll get to know about, say, the part, which says that we can draw a part for the modeling. Then we can make a assembly drawing, or we can say the representation of assembly with from the parts what we have made or what we have exported. And then what we can do is that we can make a drawing. So using a part 3D or whether it's 2D, we can convert it to a drawing and later use it for, say, giving it to the client or maybe the manufacturer who is making. Similarly, what we can do is that we are going to use the assembly drawings by importing the whole assemblies from the assembly parts. So even that could help for, say, we can say a manufacturer or a machining technician who can use the drawings for reference purpose. Okay, so first what we are going to do is that we are going to take the approach of the part drawing, and then we'll check what all user interface we have and how we can usefully use all the resources which are given to us. So for that, what we'll do is we'll go for the part. So the best feature about the SolidWorks is that it's a user friendly. So it actually tells us and mentions every steps what we are going to do. So we'll click the first, which is the part. We can double click here, or else we can click OK. So I'll choose the double click option, and here we go. We are now into the unnamed part. So what we see is that the name of the part, which is actually mentioned as part 2. Okay, so it's in the form of, or say in the extension of, SLDPRT, which means SolidWorks part. Okay, so all the extensions such as what we see is that TXT, which is for the text, DocX, which means for documents for the Microsoft Office, PPTX, which means for the presentations by the Microsoft Office. Like this, we have a part which is called SLDPRT, which is for the single part. It only has the single part entity. So let us first check what all user interface we have with this. So okay, I will drag. Besides the design library, we have the, we can say, the coordinate system, the alignment of coordinate system. So if you want to draw anything, just try to imagine how we can actually place our imagination. So just in case if you want to make a box, so we actually need to imagine that box in vacuum or say in free space, and then we need to designate a space on which we can be able to draw it. So for that, what we have is the planes. So we have the front plane. The operations what we can do is that we can sketch on the plane, we can show the plane, we can zoom to the selection, or we can normal to it. So I actually want to view the plane, which is the front plane, to perpendicular. So I'll click this logo, and okay, now this is completely perpendicular to us. So if you hold the scroll and try to hover across the space, we can actually see that the coordinate system is moving, and similarly the plane is also moving, right? So similarly we have the top plane, which is completely perpendicular, right? So I'll click show, and even also click this front plane to show. So we have these two planes. So this is the side view of both the planes. This is the front, this is the top view what we are having. And now what we are going to have is the right plane. Okay, so we are now able to see the right plane. So whenever you want to imagine drawing a sketch, we can always do it on the plane. It's always necessary to click the sketch or the plane, and then we can draw across it. So we have, after clicking on one of the plane, so whenever you try to hover across, it will actually show us the orange line. See, we can actually see the orange line, right? So this means that it's actually able to detect that plane, and it's telling that it's a front plane, right? So similarly, we have the top plane, then we have the right plane. So just in case if I want to draw a sketch, a small sketch on the front plane, so I'll hover across the front plane and right click and click the normal to. So this is what the whole plane system will look like. So we'll try to achieve this, okay, and this is how we are going to draw. So now if you want to view it, what we can do is that you can press Control and press 1. Then you can press 2 to reverse it, Control 3 for the right plane, Control 4 for the other view of right plane, Control 5 for the top plane, Control 6 for the rear or the other side of the top plane. And at last we have the Control 7, which is the isometric view. So this is how we actually can view the products, or say a gear, what we can have, because we need actually some views to get the idea of what it's made up of, right? So now what we are going to do is that we are going to check the origin. So this is the origin what we are having. We can see a small dot which is appearing here. See, so the coordinates of this point is 0 0 0. So it's almost a 3D system what we are having, right? So now if you lose your coordinate system or the planes what you were working on, you can simply click on F. So when you click F, you get to see all the working space what you were working on. So it will cover most of the space you were working. So again, I will try to press Control 1 and I get the front plane. Okay. So this was all about the systems what we are having, which is the plane system and the origin. Next to it is the material. Now just in case if you are trying to have an aluminum bolt or say a stainless steel bolt, the computer would be assigning it as no material, or the material it's not assigned. So you actually need to instruct the software that, hey, this is the material I'm using too, right? So when you right click on material, you get some of the materials what can be used. So all these are feed into the libraries, the standard values of the say cast aroused steel, ABS plastic, malleable cast iron, 1060 alloy, brass, copper, nickel, rubber. So this is how you have almost all the materials. Even you can modify, you can edit depending upon the test reports what you generate from the manufacturers or the testing facility centers. So this is how you can assign the material. Okay. So next to it, what we have is we can say the tree, which is for the part. So the moment we start drawing something or adding some of the components, the things will be building up in this region. Okay. So now we have the property manager, we have the configuration manager, we can have the dim expert manager, we can have the rendering properties or the view. So now coming, we'll actually discuss these things whenever we are going into the later parts of the drafting. Okay. So next is this whole bar, which is the for it's for mostly for the views. So as I told you, pressing F will actually get you all the visible items. So I'll press F again and see. So I'll just zoom out and press F again. So it will take me to the, you can say, the to show all the components what could accommodate this. Next to it we have the zoom to area. So just in case if you want to just focus on these assemblies, so it will actually take us to these only. So this will be the, that would be the only region it will be focusing on. The X is the previous view. So just to get the previous view it was having, you can use that tool. So we also have the orientation, like how what I had explained, the control 1, control 2. So this is all it has been mentioned here. So this is the isometric view. You can get the diametric, the trimetric views as well. Okay, so now what we can have is the how we can actually view the bodies. So you can have the shaded with edges. So with shaded, then we can have the hidden lines removed. We have the hidden lines visible. Then the wireframe which can accommodate all the lines which it is having. So then we have all types of hiding or say any kind of tools what can be done and so on. Next we have the appearance change. We can apply scenes. So if you want to have some of the plain white, you can have a plain white. If you want to have say urban fi rooftop, you can have, you could get some of the, we can say the reflections of the say racetracks and render those accordingly, right? So this is how actually you can imagine that we are going to build up our material or the product here. So it will be looking very charming after you render all the products.